Okay, here we go, heading down to the motorcycle, ready to begin the trip. As I said in the intro, I'm sorry that the sound is not there. Right, bike's been checked over and all ready to go. Beautiful day to be out, great day for a ride, just a light breeze, comfortable temperature. Packed myself a picnic lunch in the gear sack, so ready for a nice trip up into the mountains. As you probably noticed, I have a helmet cam on. I'll just make comments now and again along the way. I don't want to bore you completely with my voice, but give a little bit of an idea of what's going on. So obviously, as I said before, on the way. Length of the trip takes probably about an hour to get there, and it certainly is a great ride, one of my favourites. I've been going up this way now for probably more than 30 years actually, and it's a nice ride on the bikes, and a couple of very interesting corners you'll see coming up as we go up into the mountains. I live on an island, and we're just crossing over the bridge now. As you can see, a beautiful day out there, even a nice day for boating, nice and calm, but perfect day for a bike ride. Those of you that will have seen my previous clip on rebuilding the Honda, just to let you know, the bike is still performing as expected. Just beautiful machine to ride, very smooth, very easy to ride. Quite a docile bike if you don't hit the throttle too hard, and fuel consumption's quite good. Haven't had any major issues. I did have a small leak under the bike, which I was concerned about initially, and it turned out it was the clutch slave cylinder. The seals had let go for some reason, so it was just a case I was able to buy a slave kit for the slave cylinder, and it's an easy part to get to. You just take the covers off and the cylinder's right there, so it's a very easy fix if you can get the parts, which I was able to obtain, and fresh fluid and clutch back working again, so all good. So I'll probably do the brakes next. The brakes are still good, but maybe it's time to give them a thorough check over, and particularly maybe change the fluid. But apart from that, she's a beautiful machine. Rides wonderfully well, very, very smooth. So I'm looking forward to redoing this clip where you can actually hear the engine, and you'll get a true feeling as to how wonderful this Honda is. Just coming up behind here to a black Ford Mustang. And again, shame the sound's not working as well. It's got a nice little rumble from the exhaust. And at this point, of course, I thought the sound was working. It was supposed to, but through an error that I made, I didn't set the camera up correctly and just missed out. But never mind. It's the clips come up pretty well. I'm fairly happy with the quality. Probably when I do the next clip, I'll actually point the camera down a little bit, and that way you can sort of see the instruments on the bike as well too, which should make it a bit more interesting. So here we go, getting close to getting up onto the connecting freeway. Through the gears, and away we go. Speed limit along here is 100 kilometres an hour, dropping down to 90 and 80, mainly because of road safety reasons. Yeah, this is a nice strip of road. We're heading directly west now, so heading over where I need to go towards the mountains. Okay, this part of the clip here I've actually cut out about probably 20 minutes just going along the road, so probably a little bit boring. So just coming into a little township called Woodford. One of my favourite stops here too. Have a cup of coffee and a breather, and before long we'll be doing a turn and heading towards the mountains. Enjoy. There's a police stop on the side there. I would say they're probably doing breathalyzer testing there. No drama as far as I'm concerned. I do have a zero alcohol tolerance when I'm on the bike. Don't mind a beer at a barbecue every now and again, but on the motorcycling, I don't drink at all apart from coffee or whatever. So you're better staying away from alcohol on a bike and keeping your mind clear and alert. Kept this clip running through the little township, just mainly for our international viewers. You can get a bit of an idea what a little small country town is like. And Enfield is a one street main town, but it's established many years ago. Right, here we are now. We're coming up to the turn off. I'll be turning right here, and this is the road now that'll be heading slightly east now, and we will be making our way up into the mountains. I just decided to pull over here so that I can give the bike a bit of a run up through the gears, thinking of course that the sound was working, which it isn't, but never mind, that was the reason for the stop. But here we go, nice smooth run up. Would have been great if you had the sound, but I promise we will do this again and we'll get it right. I'll make a comment here. There's some roadworks coming up around a bend, and you'll notice I pull off the road over to the left. I do that deliberately, particularly when you come around a bend and traffic is stopped, because you never know who's coming up behind you, and particularly on a bike you don't want to be sandwiched. So I always make a point of pulling off to one side. I have had it happen to a friend where he was stopped around a corner in traffic and got hit from behind. So always good idea to be that little bit cautious as a just in case, because the guy behind you could be just barreling along at a great rate of knots and then goes, whoops, everybody has stopped. You can note the logging truck there as well too, pulled off to the side. So we don't see a lot of logging trucks up this way now. This area was actually very big in logging in the early days. I'm talking about the 20s and the 30s and the like. They pulled a lot of big cedars out. It was very, very popular for timber getters. Still a little bit of timber coming out, but nothing like it was in the old days, which is, I guess when you think about it, it's probably like that in most parts of the world now. We're using these resources up. Just to give you some orientation, I actually missed the first turn I meant to take. There's two roads running up to this mountain, and I missed the first one. It's been a while since I've been up, so I've got the second turn, so you'll see me do a turn and follow a few vehicles up. I make it up the way to the top of the mountain, and then I find the turn I missed, and you'll see me do a run down and back. It's a very interesting bike road. This one's coming up's okay, but just when you see the second one you'll understand what I mean. Love those sweeping corners. Nothing like being on a bike when you've got some curves and corners coming up and a good road. And I've got new, I did forget to mention actually, I've got some brand new rubber on the Honda. The tyres that were on there were getting a little old. Still had tread, but the rubber was getting a little bit hard, and I like sticky rubber. So I've got a new set of Bridgestones on there. And oh yeah, great. They've settled in quite nicely, and I can really lean the bike right over now, and yeah, it's like on rails. She just sticks and goes. The rubber has made a huge difference to the handling performance of the bike. You'll see a tractor coming up soon off to your left. Farmer has got some sort of device there, and he's trying to lift up a cow. I should have actually stopped and filmed it. I've never seen that before, but he's yeah, putting a special clamp around the cow, whatever's wrong with the poor thing, and moving it. So just after that we'll come up to our turn. I think it is, yeah, there's the tractor now, and you can just get a glimpse of the cow. So yeah, very interesting. Anyhow, the corner's coming up here to the right. We're up the top now of the plateau. If you can call this a mountain, I call it a mountain, I guess. It's still a nice environment up there. We get into some nice sort of subtropical and jungle. It's very, very nice. It's a great place for a ride. So now I'm heading back to where the first turn off should have been that I should have taken. So we're just skimming along the top of the plateau now, and you'll see where I'll do a turn on the way down. Back there you would have actually seen there was a bit of dirt across the road on that corner, so get on a bike, as you would appreciate anyone that's riding a bike. Careful on those corners if you see anything on them, and that was a bit of like sandy loam on that corner, so taking that too hard you'd be guaranteed to go for a bit of a slide. So always err on the side of caution. I guess that's why I've been able to stay upright for so many years. And we're coming up now to another lot of roadworks. There's nobody working there, but they've closed down one lane, so they've got the traffic lights in, which is fairly well the normal on most roadworks. I just missed the green and pull up here for a couple of minutes and wait for the traffic to come through, and away. Got the green now, and we're off. Didn't leave the camera running. I should have, because coming through the lights the other way was about 5 motorcycles. So it's always the way. Turn the camera off and something interesting happens. But never mind. So just a short bit of roadworks, and then the road will open up again. And coming up shortly should be our turn to the left, which will take us back down the mountain. Here's the turn we're looking for, and just going to pull over here for a couple of minutes and just stretch the legs, and we'll head our way down the mountain. Normally a lot lusher up here. It's still green, but we're going through a bit of a drought at the moment, so everywhere's being affected. Normally this is lovely and green, but still a nice environment. Just waiting on the rains now. Australia appears to be into a very dry period at the moment. It's October now, coming up to November, and we virtually had no rain. So let's hope this dry spell doesn't last for too long. All right, back on the bike, had a drink, stretched the legs, and we're on our way down. just past the warning sign that sharp bends are coming up. Their first 20km/h corner is coming up. Taking it reasonably easy. There's a lot of twigs and leaves on the road, and same story. Go around the corner and you hit a few of those and you lose traction. I did have one corner there where I spat a small branch out the back wheel and she skipped sideways a little bit. So just taking it nice and easy and just enjoying the ride. So there's quite a few of these little 20k corners, as you can see. Be great if the road was clear and the road was open and you could do it with a little bit of speed. It'd be fabulous, but again, take it easy, enjoy the ride, stay upright. You'll notice a few of the artificial rock walls that the people building the highway have put through to stop landslides and things coming down, because they're quite steep there. So it's basically a series of rocks and it's covered in a type of wire mesh to stop everything from rolling onto the road. Here's a nasty little corner, this one, to get around. It's quite a little steep pinch, this one, but we're still working our way down. And when I get down the bottom, I'll do a U-ey and come back up. What you may notice now too is the safety rail is now gone. The road is not as steep, but no safety rails going down, so another good idea to take it easy. Just past a big branch there. I don't know if you saw that across the road. So you need to keep your wits about you, that's for sure. But easy ride from here. Okay, some of you may have noticed that the rock walls have come back because I did the U-turn, and this is coming back up the road we were down previously. So I've just cut some of the boring video out, which is just the same old thing. So I'll just film this till we get back up to the top of the road, and then get to our destination, where I'll stop and have some coffee and bite to eat, recharge the batteries, so to speak. Keep your eye open too. Coming up here, you'll see the camera skip a little bit sideways, and that's where I picked up that branch I was telling you about earlier, where the bike did a little sideways skip. It is noticeable on the camera, but it wasn't those branches. But coming up soon, you'll see this movement, and there it is. So a little bit, you got power on, and you hit that branch, and yeah, she just flicked her out the back. But Honda stayed on course, nice and true, not a problem. And here we are coming up to that intersection I turned down. In this case we're now going to turn to the left, and a couple of minutes down the road is my little spot that I normally stop for lunch. Old farming community up this way with an old hall that they've actually done a lot of work to fix up and repaint, so the place is getting a lot of tender loving care now, whereas years ago it was getting quite derelict. So it's nice to see these older buildings getting preserved, and future generations can enjoy the area, and of course the locals too. Okay, we've arrived. Time to stop for lunch. Just thought I'd turn left here and just go down the road a little bit. I've never actually been down this road, but it just ends up servicing a couple of properties. So go down a little way, and then it's basically a dead end. So get a U-E and come back. But nice little road to travel along. Okay, heading back now to that road we were on previously. But look at that blue sky. What a beautiful day to be out. What a beautiful day to be alive, as they say. It's you couldn't get better weather. So really enjoying the ride today. Now I've come down the mountain. I actually cut out coming back down because you've seen it all before. This is back onto the main highway now. A nice little rev up through the gears, back onto 100 k's, and we'll head back up into that little township that I'd been through earlier. And again, I'm going to have a stop there and grab a bite to eat and a cup of coffee, and then from there heading home. Notice off to the right there's a few people at a rest stop there. It's a rest stop where they allow you to actually stay for a couple of nights. People have even set up tents. Doesn't cost anything to stay there. It's a free, what they call a free camp. And here we are coming up to the secondary main highway. It's turning left here, and then the little town is only just a few metres up the road, not far away at all. There's a guy coming up behind me here on my right hand side. I saw him coming and I just thought I'd let him go through first. There's no sense trying to be brave and dive in front. So make for a safe merge. Less hassle for everybody. So turn off coming up here on your right hand side. It's a nice little bike ride down through there too. Cuts through to another town. It's also along the way is our maximum security prison as well too, with all its barbed wire entanglements, or razor wire I think they use these days. So I'll do that as a video too. It's an interesting little road to travel along, and pops out at a little town called Kilcoy, where we have a very large abattoir. Okay, time to pull off now. I'm going to stop here and have another coffee break and a little snack, and stay for about 15-20 minutes, and then the final leg home from here. Time to select reverse gear with the feet to back out, and heading off now. Had a great cup of coffee, really good. Excellent coffee at that place, and good snacks. It's a little patisserie cum bakery, very popular with bike riders on the weekend. Okay, just heading down here the one-way road and to the next intersection, and do a right and back on the highway again. You can see those lovely purple trees there out in bloom. That's our jacaranda trees, and come out once a year with these beautiful purple flowers. A little bit stunted this year because of the dry conditions, but they're a spectacular tree when they're fully out. Also, next time I come up this way, just passing an RSL near this water tower, they've got a leopard tank outside, which the Australian Army had bought many years ago, and the leopard tanks were donated to the various RSLs throughout the country. Looks as good as the day it was manufactured, so I'll film that next time I come through. Okay, almost home, not far to go now, another 20 minutes probably. Just coming up to the turn off back to my little island. We will be passing the Caboolture airport soon too, which is a airport that's on my left hand side. I think you might briefly see it. And then I've cut a little bit of video out from there so it doesn't get too boring for you. So that's the main highway on the far right there. That's the main Bruce Highway. It travels all the way up to Cairns. Or you can go all the way down from Sydney, Melbourne if you stay on that road. It eventually becomes the Pacific Highway, then the Hume. There's good old McDonald's, of course. McDonald's are everywhere. So handy to stop for a cup of coffee if you feel like it, or I don't particularly like their food all that much, but some people do. Lots of caravan places here too. It's a small manufacturing base here. It's a semi-industrial area. You pretty well get most materials and supplies too here that you want. We've got a big hardware store nearby and car dealerships as well as all the light industry. We're in a 70 kilometre an hour zone here, becomes an 80. Corner coming up here is a lovely spot where the police like to wait with their little radar guns and catch people that are not doing the 70 before it changes to 80. So everyone gets wary with this little section up a road up here. And this is interesting here, you've got 3 lanes diverging down to 1, and this is where everyone does a jostle to get their spot. And I think there's one guy here that roars past me, can't get behind a motorbike and has to squeeze in. So there's a few accidents here on occasion. Here he comes, got to get past the motorbike. For what reason, I don't really know, but that's some drivers for you. And then further down the road opens back out to a dual lane, and I go past him. It's not as if bikes take a lot of room on the road, that's for sure. And this is a 100k zone, and then it drops down to 80, then it drops down to 60, then it goes up to 90, then it drops down to 70, then it drops down to 60. It's a crazy length of highway, so you have to keep your wits about you driving along here with your speeds. This is the 70 zone. We're just coming up to the bridge that takes us across to the island where it'll drop down to 60. I just hope you enjoyed this. I added a bit of extra narration because I thought it'd be just too boring just with silence, so probably added a bit more talky than I would, but I hope it made it interesting. If you'd like to see more clips like this, please leave a comment or anything else you'd like to see, and I'll endeavour to do it. But I'm hoping to do a few more now with the motorbike, now that I've got a camera where I can film some of these journeys, and next time we should have some sound, which will be fabulous. It's going to make a big difference, because it's a beautiful machine when she's purring along. It really is. I bought this bike brand new in 1990, and here we are 2023, and she's still running like she come out of the showroom. Okay, this is just coming up to the bridge. Enjoy the last few of the view here, and we'll catch you on the next journey. Oh, I have one final comment. As we're going over the bridge, you'll see the street lighting there's got two lamps on it. One pointing out over the ocean. You think, what's the point of that? But the reason is that they replaced the lights with LEDs and they put spikes on it, and they were popular rest spots for pelicans. Well, we have a lot of pelicans on this island, and so there was a big group that got together and protested to the Main Roads Department, and they ended up putting a dummy light out over the ocean that the pelicans can actually sit on. So during the summer months, you'll see everyone with one, sometimes two pelicans sitting on, because they can't sit on the LED side because of the spikes. Interesting little sideline story.